But there's a false equivalency going on in the coverage of this race.
Their objectivity actually is not objective at all. It ends up playing to Donald Trump's advantage every day.
Yes, that is correct. That is a mainstream news organization admitting to you that being objective and telling the truth is an advantage to Donald Trump. So other mainstream news organizations shouldn't be objective, and they should lie directly to your face so that it doesn't help Donald Trump, so that people don't find out the truth of this radical left-wing regime that's trying to take over our country. Like, I don't know if that's the most pathetic thing that I've ever seen or not.
In an effort to appear balanced, to appear objective, mistakes are absolutely being made, and standards are being applied to both candidates here when Donald Trump is a different animal. He is an insurrectionist.
Well, the crew over at Morning Joe on MSNBC, you know, the same crew that wanted Biden to continue running in this presidential race despite the fact that he was suffering from clear cognitive decline. Yeah, those people, they're furious that journalists would have the audacity of ever reporting anything negative on the Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris, because Trump is he's a special threat. And so since they've decided that Trump is a very special threat, well, then journalists should hide information about Kamala Harris from you, so you don't vote for Trump and definitely vote for Kamala Harris. In other words, they want the media to manipulate you and do the exact opposite of journalism. Don't believe me? Well, why don't we hear co-host Mike Barnicle make his case?
But there's a false equivalency going on in the coverage of this race, in that Donald Trump can say whatever crazy things he wants to say about submarines and sharks and electric batteries, whatever he wants to say. And it's not really covered in the sense that it's covered describing who said it, why he said it, and who the man is, Trump, out of his mind. And always in that story, in the equivalency, the false equivalency by too many reporters and too many American newspapers. There's also, by the way, Kamala Harris changed her mind on fracking. They always throw in something like that in coverage of the story. It's ridiculous. We don't cover the man for how dangerous he is.
You don't cover the man for how dangerous he is? I don't know. I don't know what country I'm living in, but I feel like we get wall-to-wall coverage about Trump being a danger to this country. It is incessant. It is all they talk about on MSNBC. Did he just suggest that journalists shouldn't report on Kamala Harris changing her mind on fracking? Is that not an important policy that voters should be informed about? And also, is he under the impression that telling Americans the truth about where Kamala Harris stands on the issues automatically means that Donald Trump is gonna win the election? This is, when I started my career, when I started working at TYT back in 2007, there really wasn't like left-wing media. There was like Fox News, and the right-wing media infrastructure was kind of being built. And I prided myself and the left wing on the fact that we didn't try to manipulate audiences, and we didn't try to lie to people or cover up the truth about our preferred candidates or preferred politicians. We didn't want to stoop low and do what the right wing was doing with their misinformation, with the fact that they would omit incredibly relevant, important parts of the story in order to make Republicans look good and Democrats look bad. And now we're in this awful era of conditioning audiences and readers to expect journalists to cheerlead like partisan hacks for one candidate or the other. Yep. And if you don't do it, if you don't engage in it, they get mad at you.
I might not see eye to eye with Ana Kasparian on how we got here, but I agree that this is the reality we're facing. The woke media goes after anyone who dares to criticize it, clearly because it won't hold itself accountable.
Right.
They've coddled Joe Biden and done everything possible to protect Hillary Clinton, never calling out their own. Just look at the White House press corps. It's a joke. Americans are fed up. They're kept in the dark, and it's by design. There's a clear effort to keep people ignorant about the real issues. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree or disagree? Leave a like and let's get back to
You're
it.
supposed to be.
You know, he's right. Like it's more than like a clear effort to keep you ignorant. Like this is something I noticed a long time ago. It's actually the current mainstream media is actually actively insulating you from the facts. They are telling you straight bullshit and insulating you from the actual facts of these situations. They are actually deliberately radicalizing the American people, deliberately dividing the American people in the name of saving this radical progressive agenda that has been going on for like the last 30 years. And that's what Donald Trump is a threat to. He's a threat to their deranged progressive left-wing agenda. He's the biggest threat that they've ever faced when it comes to that. And they absolutely know it. They know the American people are done with this type of bullshit. You're not going to tell me that a man that successfully governed this nation for 4 years, had the damn nuclear codes for 4 years, successfully governed the economy, successfully governed, kept us out of wars. You're not going to tell me that he's a threat to democracy and expect me to believe it. I am too smart for that. Tell that to your left-wing fucking partisan hacks and let them repeat it to their little, bubble audience that they have that just obsesses over this shit, because that's what it is. Like, they've developed a niche of people that hate Donald Trump, and they literally watch the show specifically to watch Donald Trump get dunked on. It's absolutely pathetic. And we're going to go into more of like really why this is happening in this video, because it's gotten out of control. Families are being divided. People are living like the Democratic Party wants people to live in an absolute fabricated reality. You know, like I argue with my dad about these things, and it's pathetic. Like, it's literally dividing families, because when we argue about this shit, the stuff he says is not even like real. You know, like he's still talking about Trump being friends with Putin and he'll be a dictator and like the Hitler shit, like the dumbest things that were like immediately debunked by actual fact checkers and like actual objective media outlets from like years ago, he's still talking about. Like, he lives in an absolute fabricated reality, and he thinks I just picked a side here. And that's not what this is. This is not, people did not pick a side with Donald Trump and they just, Donald Trump just has a cult following. No, people have woke up to this insane radical left that has taken over the EU, the UN, Australia, every other country, essentially, every other democracy on the damn planet except America. Well, really America too. But if Donald Trump wins, they know that it's a wrap for that bullshit. That's why they're trying so hard to prop Kamala up, even though she's like the worst candidate ever. She's the most incompetent fucking vice president ever. Just the fact that they threw her up there alone thinking she would win off like identity politics just shows you how radical left this insane Democrat Party has become. It's completely out of control. Like, the people that still are supporting Kamala and Biden, they live in total fabricated realities. Like, because they believe the bullshit that is coming from these media outlets. Scandal after scandal after scandal. They get into one on this video here, one of these scandals where Donald Trump went to the Arlington Cemetery and disrespected those poor fallen soldiers. Like, come to find out, no, the family members actually invited Donald Trump there. And like, just the latest scandal that they're doing is, oh, tariffs are such a bad idea. They're so horrible. Donald Trump doesn't know what he's talking about with these tariffs. Then he goes on an economic forum and literally explains the whole thing perfectly clear, made sense to anybody with a brain. And now they've completely shut up about tariffs because they know that he destroyed them on their arguments about tariffs. Like, just there's a latest scandal here happening where they're trying to say that Donald Trump said Hitler did some good things. Donald Trump never said that, ever. It didn't come out of his mouth. They're literally making shit up and lying to the American people deliberately. I seen a Kamala Harris ad the other day where she is still going on with this lie about Project 2025. Like, it has gotten absolutely insane, and they are deliberately radicalizing the American people in the name of their left-wing agenda. And it's sad. It's despicable. We have to stop them, period. Donald Trump has to win this election. If not, our country will never be the same. We will be we are headed for a socialist catastrophe, maybe anyway. Like, but if Donald Trump doesn't win, it practically ensures it. Swear to God. That's how bad this is. That's how insane and radical this, whoever is really running that Democrat Party, the radicals that the other reasonable left aren't willing to stand up to, whoever they are, has gotten so out of control. They are going to destroy this country if they continue with the policies that they've been implementing. I was just listening the other day to one state. They're like $5 billion deficit from spending on green initiatives and climate change initiatives, and like Kamala Harris wants a carbon tax. There's so many crazy policies that they've implemented here recently that will destroy this. They're already destroying the country. This shit has gotten out of hand, man. And you know whose fault it really is? It's the woke left. It's the left-wing media outlets who are deliberately radicalizing the American people on purpose. It's not Donald Trump's rhetoric. It's their rhetoric and their lies to the American people. You know, I got to arguing with a customer of mine the other day about politics, and it's the same shit. He believes the insurrection lie. He believes he'll be a dictator. He's really a threat to democracy. All the dumb radical left-wing lies. People are believing this shit. And it's dividing family. It's separating families and destroying the country at the same time. That's my rant. I'm done ranting.
Elections in many ways.
Yeah, they certainly do.
I mean, I kind of alluded to it in the show, but I think the biggest hoax going is the idea that the Russia collusion was not is a hoax.
Yeah,
it's not a hoax.
It's not.
There was collusion. Just because Bob Mueller was bad at proving it, there was definitely collusion.
So holy cow, look at the severe TDS on Bill Maher. Him still thinking that there was Russian collusion, even though there's been a whole investigation to it. They found nothing. They found like there was a little bit like of
there was basically nothing. Like, there has been a whole entire investigation done, and they found nothing that would influence the election. Can you imagine? That's what I mean by it. Like, when you try to argue with people, you're arguing with people that don't know what woke is. They don't know about political correctness. They don't know about affirmative action and DEI and all the crazy shit that's going on in the world. They have no idea about it, yet they still believe shit that was debunked years ago. And the mainstream media is deliberately doing this shit. Like, I seen Bill Maher one time, like, get exposed by Megyn Kelly, telling Bill Maher that basically, there was no Russia collusion, and he was never charged with rape. And then some months later, like a year later, Bill Maher's still talking about Donald Trump being charged with rape. I know for a fact Megyn Kelly told him it was a lie. It was not real. It was there like he was charged. He was never charged criminally. Yet he still says the talking point. These people have been, like, the mainstream media is brainwashing people with these lies and insulating people from the facts. It's crazy what's going on right now. Like, no, you fucking idiot, Bill Maher. It was all you idiots, all three of you, Rachel Maddow, your girlfriend beside you, like all of you are retarded. This shit was a lie. It was made up. For the love of God. The Wall Street Journal wrote 3,000 articles about something that was not even real. You guys are insane if you really can't step back and realize that, no, there was no Russia collusion. There is no fucking Trump and Hitler are friends, or Trump and Putin are friends. It's all a lie. You fucking morons. The newest scandal they're trying to do is to call Donald Trump a fascist. If you're an actually objective person and you're not a radical lefty already, please go look into fascism right now. Go find out what it is exactly, all the complexities of what makes fascism, and tell me who the real fascists are. Because when you look into it, you will be shocked. Everything that this radical left Democrat Party has been doing is fascism. Blaming the other side for exactly what you're doing. You know, trying to politicize issues that shouldn't even be politicized. Abortion and, you know, insurrections and like shit, outright lying to the American people, having zero policies whatsoever, running on all demagoguery and emotions. That is what fascism is. They are more fascist than anything coming from Donald Trump and the right wing. But let's listen to this pathetic trash she's about to spew to the American people.
His intention to weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies, and then you just look at what the people who know him best and worked with him in the Oval Office and the White House have said about him, which is he is unfit to serve and would be dangerous if he were president again.
Oh, you know, like exactly like you guys did. You guys weaponized the Department of Justice to try to take him down several times. Like, get out of here, man.
And he, even by the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has been called a fascist to his core. I am quoting. So what we are talking with folks about today is what I've been talking with folks about since I've been on the campaign trail these last 70 odd days, which is this is a choice for the American people. And it is a choice between whether we're going to chart a new way forward that turns the page on the division, the hate, the chaos of Donald Trump, but also, and maybe even more fundamentally, do we have a president of the United States who stands behind the seal of the president of the United States, taking seriously their oath and their duty to uphold the Constitution of the United States and abide by
You don't uphold the Constitution. You want to take away people's guns and force people to drive electric cars and all this other crazy shit. Like, no, man. They're accusing the other side of exactly what they're doing themselves, and it's gotten out of control. They're literally lionizing the American people on purpose with these lies.